need one. But first, let me take a selfie. Pro or Valencia. I want to look tan.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head? And this is where I grew up. I think the president owner fixed it up. I never knew we ever went without. The second floor is hot for sneaking out. And this is where I went to school. Most of the time had better things to do. Criminal record says I've broken twice. I must have done it half a dozen times. I wonder if it's too late. Should I go back and try to graduate? Life's better now than it was back then. If I was them I wouldn't let me in. Oh, God. They say somebody went and burned it down. We used to listen to the radio and sing along with every song we know. We said someday we'd find out how it feels to sing to more than just a steering wheel. Kim's the first girl I kissed. I was so nervous that I nearly missed. She's had a couple of kids since then. I haven't seen her since God knows when.
Do you want to show us sat on a chair, or do you want to just concentrate on the face? Do you need the chair in it? What's the chair going to represent? Because you got to think, you got to be precise with what you show in the picture.
The chair would represent that.
You pulled it off.
That they're stuck and they feel.
I think the tape will do that though. The tape's going to sum up that a lot, and you're going to have words wrote on the tape as well. I think that's quite a strong message. Okay, let's get set up.
Because it turns flash off, it's trying to, the shutter speed's gone really slow, so it's trying to bring in all the light. But how cool is that? That's okay on that one.
Change. Every memory of looking out the back door. I have a photo album spread out on my bedroom floor. It's hard to say it, time to say it. Goodbye, goodbye.
started, we're going to do a competition tonight, and you can see that the photography we've been doing has been done over 4 weeks, and it's been put into the 4 different categories. I'd like to welcome Daniel Poole from the NSPCC, who is the community fundraising manager for this kind of area. He's going to judge our campaign images. So the idea of that was to try and find images that were thought-provoking, and obviously looking at social issues. We've had some quite interesting conversations. We've tried to answer as many questions as we can. People have said, what about this, what about that? The whole point was about the art of photography, but obviously when you start to do stuff like that, it starts to go into deeper conversations about other things. So that's been a really interesting one.
Yeah, so like we were saying, I'm from the NSPCC, and obviously we run a lot of campaigns, and these campaigns are normally about issues that aren't very nice. It's not something that you're necessarily going to want to see, or an image that you're not going to want to take in. But what I think is really interesting about all of these pictures, before I get to my favourite ones, is a campaign picture, and a campaign that we have at the NSPCC. Anything has to make people want to do something. It has to make them want to raise money, or to help out, or more importantly, it might actually be something that's affecting them, and that image can be really important and can be the thing that helps them to actually seek help. So it's a really difficult thing, and we also pay a lot of money to get images that aren't just the same quality as some of the ones up here. So great job. Maybe there's some future photographers here. So my third place one is this one here. I like this one actually because it had a really cool effect for say you were just using an iPhone, but also it had in one picture you had a picture that could actually be nice, like a quite happy one, someone taking a selfie in the mirror, but the kind of person over the shoulder kind of gave it quite a sad and menacing kind of feel, and you wanted to help the person in the picture out, so that's something that you'd want for a campaign. So this is my third The next one I picked was this picture here. This is my second place. I really like this picture just because, not that I'm a photographer, from what I understood, the way the picture was put together, it seemed really cold, and the way that person's looking in the mirror seems really unhappy, and the way you're looking at it, you really want to kind of jump into the photo and kind of get in and help the person who's there. And I just think that, again, something with kind of a brand of a charity like the NSPCC or another one just put at the bottom, that would make a poster and a campaign on its own. So, I was going to say. All of the pictures were really good. This picture, I think all of us, when we saw it, was like, it literally is something that we could take without any editing and put the NSPCC logo on and use tomorrow. And it was this picture here, this one put together. Now it seems hard to kind of, yeah.
Someone wants some sweets.
Yeah, just the reason we picked this picture, well I picked this picture, I think everyone else will as well. It's just, there's so many things about it really. The way that the colours and the shadows look, it looks like a kind of cold and horrible situation, but also just looking at the picture, you don't need any explanation about what's happening. It instantly makes you want to do something or to react to the picture that's happening. As far as a campaign poster would go, this is something, again, that we could use tomorrow, and that we would use tomorrow, and I think it showed some really good creativity, and whoever is in the picture there, it's kind of a really kind of like a haunting look in it almost. I know you guys do performance as well, and obviously that came across in the way that you put the picture together, so yeah.
This just going back to that again, the girls in that image, and there was so much that was going on. Talking, even going around, trying to find the right hand, trying to get the right image. And like I said, the performance element of it obviously is key, but nothing quite captures the innocence of a young girl, like a young girl. So, you know, Jaya in that, very aware of what was going on, very aware of the message that was behind it. And we were going to we even asked Jaya's mum whether we could put on the message that the campaign message. But then afterwards I thought, you know what, it doesn't really need it, because all three straight away said it makes you feel like that anyway. You don't need the words, which is kind of the idea. The image itself was that too.
Right, obviously I'm not a photographer, but as an artist, a portrait artist as well, it all goes hand in hand. We're all looking for the same thing: details, light, dark, any shadows that define the face. So a lot of the images were really, really good. It was hard to pick, but some of them stood out a bit more. I mean, Mark's told me that they're going to edit them, so it did change the choice slightly. Because I felt some of them were like an inch or two, slightly changed them a little bit, and they would have been bang on. So I have changed it slightly. My first place choice though, even though for me personally when I'm doing portraits, I like the entire head, a bit of frame around it, like some of the drawings, so you get everything, shoulders. But my first choice one is actually a little bit completely different. It's basically just based on the light, the dark, the details in the face, the creases in the lips, everything. So my first choice is okay, so my second pick was based on, again, the fact that Mark's only going to be edited, so it can be changed. So for me, this one was very close to being the first, to be honest. If it was edited straight away, I'd say it was first, but it reminded me a bit more like Edwardian style photographing, a bit like the Queen Victoria's old style portrait. So if this one was shoulders and head and frame right, this one probably would have just edited, but this one's second.
That was one of our youngest pair, Lexi and Olivia.
Okay, and this one again was basically the same. For me, this one was perfect in terms of the detail in the face and the light. It was more or less, if they were just slightly like a foot down and looking more straight on, it would have been bang on, but it was slightly from the top of the head down. It didn't do anything wrong with it. It was still pretty much a good solid image. So third place is this one.
Emily and Lydia, well done. One of my favourite weeks for creativity was when we started really getting better at doing the pictures, the angles and everything else was this. So I'm going to invite Dan to do our commercial photography.
So from a commercial photography point of view, sometimes you're looking at branding, sometimes you're looking at what is the image you're trying to sell, but the reality is, as a seller, you're trying to take a message, encode it in the image in such a way that the buyer unscrambles it in their mind. So it's kind of, without being so obvious, kind of subtly allow them to see the full vision. So I've noticed on that wall, there's actually many photos that could actually be used commercially. You know, you choose them and use them straight off the shelf, and you could use them for a range of projects. But in third place, I actually started third to first, so I'm a little bit more professional. In third place, I've chosen this one. Now, the reason why I've chosen this one, it's not actually obvious what it's promoting, although you can see it's to do with fashion, it's to do with ladies' fashion. The lady's got an overcoat, she's got an umbrella, but I actually think the type of photography in relation to what it's potentially promoting, I think works quite well. I think that could be used in a catalogue, you know, the likes of New Look or, you know, Top Shop, something like that. So I thought that was really well. So that's good. Second place is this one. You'll see that there's Tom wearing glasses. You'll see that the picture's quite busy and it's quite blurred, except for when you focus over to the actual lenses themselves, it's more in focus. So the idea is glasses in focus. I think it pretty much does what it says on the tin. So I'm quite impressed with this one. So.
This is exactly the same thing. These two, talking about that week, these two, the juniors did swap partners each week, but them two, they really did get what they were trying to do, and I kept trying to quiz them saying, well, why would you do that? Trying to make them come up with a mistake, but actually they were so kind of on the money with what they were trying to sell. And like I say, I didn't persuade Dan to just pick 2 images right out of there and both the same people.
The last one is this image. The photograph itself looks really professional. You'll see that there's a football in there and there's some battered Converse trainers. Now, to be honest, when I looked at this picture, it wasn't just about there's the ball, there's the shoes. It actually made me think. It reminds me when I was a kid. So it actually provoked that gut feeling, which I can actually relate to this picture in many ways. So I thought I did a pretty good job. So that's first place.
Right, so on to our final round, which is the public vote, as it were. So the first of our third places, you needed a stunning location, and I think this is a stunning location, which is Grace's school, I believe. Grace where? Come on. Okay, and then there's so much work that went into this. So much mess as well, but so much work that went into it, and it was our candles, which was very nice. Okay, second place, we said that we weren't going to edit the pictures. We said that if you can edit them on your phone using an app, then please do. We weren't going to edit them because obviously it would have been, I mean, I think we had about 800 photographs, 500 we deleted because obviously that's what we do. But this one was edited on the phone, and I actually don't even know whose it is, but it's quite confusing. Well done, you lot. Okay, and finally, and this is a really odd, quite a disturbing image. But the two girls that put it together are far from disturbing. What they are is extremely creative. Okay, what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is to build a display in that corner and say all of the work. I think every picture that you, or every student has either posted something up there, some really, really good images. As I said, we're going to build a display up there. So, that brings us to the end really. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank the students really for your input and your effort, and it's been quite a different, not as structured as it normally is, just letting them wander around and trash the place with talc, which we're still washing out of. But as I've said before, nothing gets in the way of creativity. Thanks for coming, thank you guys for giving us that input and that insight. Thank again to Josh and Becky for your time. And this is something that we're going to look to maybe do, well, certainly do again, but just to formalise a little bit more.